Hey, it's Kaz, and we've got an interview coming up with Nigel Bradbury, an astronomer. We've also got music by Ix, by Schema, and by Rendacium from Derby. We're going straight into it.
You're listening to the Casimir.
That's me, chatting with Nigel.
Death. Isn't that so 90s?
You think so?
It's the Casimir Engine. It's not KKK.
I'm metric astronomer Nigel Bradbury, and you're listening to the Casimir Engine Show podcast.
Wow! Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you to invite me.
I saw you up at the Flying Childers.
Oh, yes, indeed, yes.
That's when we first met, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
And if you're not from the area, Flying Childers is a cracking pub just up in the hillside from Matlock.
It certainly is.
And you were doing a talk on everything astronomical, pretty much, but focusing on something that we're going to come up with, that we're going to talk about a bit later on. But I've got a load of questions to ask you. A lot of them you're going to think, well, everybody knows that, but I really don't. And I'm fascinated to have a chat with you about this. I'm absolutely fascinated. I've got loads and loads of stuff to talk about. So we'll just go. So I tell you, first of all, whereabouts are you from originally?
Yes, I'm born and bred in a little town called Bakewell in Derbyshire. So
Oh,
Bakewell,
right.
born and bred.
Yeah.
The family still live in Bakewell, so we're an old Bakewell family. So I'm from Bakewell.
Oh, okay.
In Derbyshire, yeah.
And you live in? Do you live in Matlock now?
Yes, I'm in Matlock now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, down near the Arc Centre down there.
Brilliant. So you're an astronomer, is that right? We better get this right. I can't call you an astrologer, can I?
Yes, I'm an amateur astronomer.
Amateur astronomer.
Yeah. So there's a slight difference, of course. One gets paid for it, and the other one love the sport, shall we say.
Where did you first get interested in astronomy?
Well, when I was about 6 years old, and I was a little book, and I was reading about a chap called Sir William Herschel.
Oh, yeah.
And William Herschel was sort of in his back garden one night with a telescope, scanning the heavens, and he discovered the green planet Uranus. And that sort of hooked me, really. I was interested in doing something like that in the future. I was about 6 years old at the time. So I was hooked on it. And then I asked my dad I asked for Christmas for a telescope when I was 6. I didn't get one. I asked again when I was 7. I didn't get one. And then when I was 8 years old, or the third time, for Christmas I had the telescope I've been wanting. So I started sort of viewing when I was about 8 years old.
Oh, right. So it wasn't like somebody who introduced you to it. It was purely through reading and stuff like that that got you into it.
Yeah.
And so you've got no family members who are interested in this kind of thing, or?
Not that I know of. No.
Oh, it's not hereditary then, so... Okay, when did you got your first telescope at 7?
8.
8,
Yes,
yeah.
From my eighth Christmas.
Are we talking some kind of sophisticated piece of kit, or was it just
It was what you got at the time. It was actually quite nice quality, but it was a small, what's called a 60mm refractor telescope. So that's sort of a lens on a long white tube and a basic tripod.
Yeah.
And it was a sort of a sliding eyepiece focus mechanism, so it was 15 times magnification, up to about 60 times magnification. So it was actually quite a nice little telescope, ideal for a starter, like I was then.
Okay, so what can you see with something like that?
Yes, you can. If you know what you're doing with one, you can see the rings of Saturn with a small telescope.
Yeah.
You can glimpse Mars's polar caps.
No way.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, with a bit of practice and get your eye in a bit, you can sort of spot them with a small telescope.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with the Jupiter, you can see the Great Red Spot and the 4 main satellites of Jupiter, which are Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto.
Yeah.
And you can see all those 4 satellites as well with a small telescope like that.
So, what was the first thing that you saw? The moon, I would imagine.
It was the moon. Yeah. You haven't got there. You got absolutely right. The moon. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Which is, again, something that I never tire of looking at. You can see a lot of detail on the moon. You can sort of see a crater or two on the moon, even with a small telescope.
Yeah.
And if you watch it over a period of time, you can see the shadow angles change on the craters. So you can see different details appearing as time goes on.
Okay. You're going to have to give me lessons on this, because we first started looking at the stars through just a pair of binoculars. And you could get a fair view of the moon. You could see some detail and stuff like that. But I bought Mrs. Engine. I bought her a telescope for her birthday, and then all of a sudden, this is just like another world. When you get a telescope and you get something that you can see some real. I was expecting to see Neil Armstrong's footprint, but it's not quite that good. But you get some really good detail on it.
Yeah, it's true. You can see a lot with a small telescope, and binoculars. You can see a lot of things with binoculars.
Yeah,
but because you can't zoom into the Saturn's ring, for example, with binoculars. It's not sort of powerful enough to sort of see the rings properly.
Is it an expensive hobby?
It can be, but it can be quite cheap if you get, say a used telescope. You can buy a second-hand quite cheap nowadays with the old internet.
Yeah.
So not really expensive once you get kitted up. No, I wouldn't say it's expensive, no.
Yeah, because it just seems quite a technical, hobby to have.
It can be. Some people do say astrophotography. They do some superb pictures.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's something which you can do as a technical exercise in itself. Now, you can also do visual astronomy, where you look at a planet, take a pencil out and sketch it, and you can see the details on its surface, sketch those details, and sort of get involved with it that way rather than taking photographs.
Yeah.
So I like to do that side of it more than the actual photography side of it.
Sketching of the...
Yeah, and visually observing, recording observations, watching variable stars.
Yeah.
Scanning for galaxies with potential supernovae in them, which you can there are certain galaxies which are candidates for supernovae, which haven't had a bright star exploding in them for many years, and they're about due now. One such galaxy is the Great Andromeda Galaxy.
Okay.
And in about 1888, it had a supernova, which went to an exploding star.
Yeah.
And so that looked like a bright star in the night sky. It was actually in the external galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy. And since then, it hasn't done a supernova, and it's due to have one. So, so keep your eyes peeled on that galaxy.
We can't find it. This is the worst thing. We've been looking. You have to excuse Herbie, the studio dog's had a new toy and he's just going crazy for it at the moment. But we've been trying to find the Android, and everybody says, "Oh, that's one of the easiest things that you can find." Have we found it? Have we, Ella's like? I can't believe that we've never found. And yet, I think we've seen it. You can see it with the naked eye. It's a bit of a smudge if you don't look directly or you look away from it slightly. What's that called?
Yes, that's called averted vision.
Oh, right.
So the human eye works in a simple way. The centre of the eye sees sort of clear detail. The edge of your eye, i.e. your peripheral vision, sees faint light photons better. So if you look at an object, offset your gaze a bit. Yeah, look at the edge of your eye to see it, and it sort of pops out at you more. It's called averted vision, and it works a treat. Especially with things like faint aurorae, faint northern lights, or faint, clouds in the sky. Anything that's really faint.
Yeah.
Look away from it slightly, and you'll see it better.
Okay.
So it'll be more easy. Yeah.
So, what's your favourite object in the night sky?
It used to be planet Mars. It's always a visual challenge to sort of see detail on it. With a large telescope, it's a very coloured object. I like to look at Jupiter as well, so planet Jupiter. So you could say objects. It's the planets, really, which I like to look at and record the detail on the surfaces.
You see, my weird fascination with technology and, I suppose, science fiction, because I'm a Trekkie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a mad. I know it's not real, and I suppose when you're an observer of planets and stars and stuff like that, it's just escapism for me.
Yeah, everyone needs an escape. I like Star Trek. I like the original series particularly.
Yeah.
With the old Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Of course, if it was true, and if you could, for example, go at warp 10.
Yeah.
Which a ship is supposed to be able to do, it would still take 10,000 Earth years to cross our one galaxy.
No way.
At warp 10. So
Oh,
10,000 years.
I've never checked the Enterprise's speedometer to know that, but is that how long it would take?
Yeah, flat out, it took 10,000 years at warp 10. You have to get across our galaxy, and that's one galaxy, of course, in millions and millions.
Isn't that bizarre?
It is. It's
Wormhole technology, you see, that's what you need.
That.
You need wormhole technology.
Look around and there's nothing to choose. Well, I'm here and you're there. All I see is your sandy blonde hair. Your son did the work, just trying to dish the dirt. You came to silence the man who came to take the prize from your hand. Dispatched to would-be assassins. You're vicious, you're no novice. Congressional powder kid. One day it's gonna blow your leg.
Because of that, I'm absolutely gobsmacked when I see a satellite. Or I see the ISS, the International Space Station. When I see that flying over, because you can see it as a very, very bright dot, especially the ISS.
It catches some people by surprise. You know, they look up and they think, "What is it?" Because they don't know what it is. Some think it's even a UFO. You know, and so of course, and they do, and of course, they watch it going over, and I mean, you don't realise that there are people sat in that, you know, probably looking
it's
at
incredible,
it, you know.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, when Tim Peake was up there, it was a real event to go out in the back garden.
Yes.
Every Saturday night, it seemed to be that the whole population would be standing, looking at it, thinking, right, there's Tim Peake up there. But I think for mankind to put something like that and for it to get into space is just phenomenal. And then if you lie in the back garden on a deck chair and you stare up, these things are flying all over the place. I mean, when I was a kid, I can't ever remember seeing satellites, but I suppose they weren't around. But I remember
years ago, you know, just scanning the heavens with a decent sized telescope, and the field of view is about half a degree, so about the size of the moon in the sky. And in that half a degree, I saw 5 satellites, you know, crisscrossing each other through space at one given time. I'm thinking there's a lot of satellites up there which we can't see.
There's a lot of junk up there.
Well, junk is a good word for it.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Is this something special we can have a look at now at this time of year?
Well,
we're in March because a lot of people will listen to this further down the line. So we're in April today.
Right. Well,
we're in April today.
Well, for example, from May onwards until I would say early August, go out looking on the north horizon.
Yeah.
For a thing called noctilucent cloud.
Oh.
It's two sort of words. It's a Latin word, nocti for night, and lucent for luminous. So it means night luminous cloud. And it sort of runs along the northern horizon. As the sun goes down in the sort of west-northwest in the summertime, you can see a sort of cloud, and it's sort of a silvery blue colour.
Yeah.
And as the sort of sun tracks below the horizon, over sort of the midnight period, so it's under the northern horizon, this cloud follows along that northern horizon, then rises in the east-northeast in the morning sky. So it's only between the sort of times of May to August in the UK, which you can see as cloud. It's the highest cloud that's sort of known to man. It's about 50 miles up in the air. It's really high cloud. Wow. And it's lit up by the sunlight from below, so you can't see it.
Yeah.
Until it's at the correct angle, which we get basically in June and July, really.
Yeah.
May as well, and potentially August.
That's noctilucent cloud.
Night luminous. It's electric blue.
Okay.
And it's sort of got lots of wispy, lace-like detail, which morphs and changes as you observe it.
Okay.
And it's often mistaken for the northern lights.
Yes.
Because it's on the northern horizon and it's shining at night, hence night luminous. But it's actually noctilucent cloud. And that's something to go and spot out for on a clear northern night.
I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look for that. At the moment, I've got to say one of my favourite things to have a look at is, you're going to laugh, and I know at some point you're going to think this guy's a real amateur. And I am a real amateur. But Orion's Belt and Beetlejuice.
Oh, is it?
Beetle guy. They've changed the name, didn't they?
Yeah, but
it was
you
like,
never say it 3 times.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah. Oh no, don't say it again.
Yes,
but it's like Uranus suddenly changed its name when I was at school as well to Uranus.
Uranus, yes, that's right.
And then Beetlejuice changed its name to
Beetlejuice. Or
Something like
that. It's how you want to pronounce it. It's even spelt differently by some people, but in really, I mean, the belt of Orion, which is 3 sort of stars in that sort of row. Now it's in March, April time. They're getting low in the west.
Yes.
So it's sort of getting the end time now to observe that until next sort of autumn time again.
But that it's bright orange.
It is.
It's quite
a red supergiant star.
Okay.
And it's about 800 times wider than our own sun. Now, the sun...
Hang on a minute. 800 times.
So our sun is 109 times wider than our Earth. So if you imagine the Earth as a little sort of centimetre ball, so the sun is 1.09 metres wide as a yellow disc next to it. Now Betelgeuse is 800 times that diameter.
So near on a kilometre.
Yeah. Compared to a 1 metre
to
sphere.
to a centimetre piece of Earth.
To the metre sphere of the sun.
Yeah.
So it's huge, and it's about 500 light years away. So if you look at the belt of Orion and look above left, you can see this sort of red supergiant star, and just think that the light photons have been travelling through space since the reign of King Henry VIII. That's the sort of time, Tudor times. That is the time it's taken for light photons to get to us. Whereas, because from our sun, it's just over 8 minutes. So the sun's over 8 minutes, 8 light minutes away.
Okay.
But that star's about 500 light years away. So it's a heck of a way away.
So we're looking at light that started when Henry VIII was...
Yeah.
I'll just shut Herbie the studio dog up a bit. Get your toy. Go on. So it's light that started when Henry VIII was on the throne.
Exactly.
Before it hits our retina.
Yes, it's travelled through space for all that time.
You're listening to the best podcast in the world. It's the Casimir Engine Show.
So we just had a bizarre conversation off mic about Herbie the studio dog, who's just is frantic because he's had a new toy. And you say you've got a pet parrot.
I have, yes, Donald.
Donald the parrot, not
Yeah.
named after Donald Trump.
No.
It talks more sense.
Oh, it can't talk any worse, can
Oh,
it?
it doesn't.
Yes, he lets you know what he wants.
And how big's your parrot?
Oh, it's only sort of, about a foot high, if that,
Only about a foot high.
I've had him 30 years.
Wow.
So, it's still mayhem,
Yeah? Crikey.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Beetlejuice.
Messages, yeah.
Is it going to blow up?
It's
A
in
supernova?
cosmic terms, yes.
Okay.
It's unstable.
Yeah.
It's variable, so it's called a variable star. In fact, it's called an LPV, which means long period variable, and it's got a period of about a year and a bit. Then there's another oscillation of 18 years. So its official title is Alpha Orionis, and then Rigel on the other side of the belt, look to the lower right, is Beta Orionis. But they sort of changed the letters because when it was first observed, it was actually brighter. So it was called Alpha at the time.
Okay.
It looked brighter. It's actually fainter now. So
Yeah.
it varies in light output. It's set to go supernova. I wouldn't say yet. I'd give it probably a few million years. But on a cosmic scale, yes, it's getting ready to go supernova.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And what would be the effect? If it went now, would we feel an effect at that kind of distance?
Well, it'll take another 500 years to find out.
Well,
So let's leave it at that then.
yeah. Well, we'll be all right then. Bugger everybody else. We'll be all right. In 500 years, they must have sorted out hats that can protect them or something like that, can't they?
So.
Yeah. Okay. So we've gone through the astronomical side of your experience, but you also run a thing called astrotourism.
Yeah, I take part in it. Yeah. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging.
Explain astrotourism to everybody who doesn't know, because I've seen the talk, so I was just blown away by it. Yeah.
It is. I mean, obviously, people are sort of thinking, the rockets. I mean, I can't name who they are, but there are certain rockets which are set to be going up, ticking would-be astrotourists up into intergalactic orbit.
Oh, okay.
And things like that. And,
Yeah.
that might happen in the future. It's never ever happened yet.
All right, so it seems it's always on the news, and it seems
Yes, it
like
is.
a certain record label owner is going to be taking people into space. Do you think that'll happen in our lifetime? Or Richard? No, I nearly said his name
I don't
then.
think that the general public, will be doing sort of that sort of thing in our lifetime. It'll be far, far too expensive.
Yeah.
The flights will be too few and far between, due to conditions, inclement conditions on Earth and things. What you can do now, which is just as good really, is a chartered flight to do a bit of astrotourism on a Boeing 737 aircraft.
On a normal aeroplane?
Yeah, and we get on board the aeroplane, and to make it really dark inside, we blacken it out with black duct tape. With the crew's permission, of course. You ask the captain and crew, but they let you get on with it.
I take it there's nobody going on holiday on this plane at the same time?
No, just fly from the UK, you say, East Midlands Airport or whichever other airport it would be, any UK airport.
Yeah.
And we fly from the airports, and sort of just north of Shetland, we hover around in sort of circles. and we sort of look at the lights, the aurora, the northern lights on one side of the airplane, and the stars on the other.
Wow.
And then the airplane turns around, and then the other side look at it, and then the stars on the other side. So they also get an alternating view of the night sky from 7 miles high over the North Atlantic, which is it's jet black, and the airplane's black inside.
Yeah.
So the naked eye really expands to its maximum to sort of see as much as it can. So it's it really is the finest view, certainly of the stars, which you'll ever see. It really is.
Now, I can remember in the talk you said that you have to get your eyes adjusted.
Yes, it's called dark adapted. There are 2 levels to that. One, is your basic dark adaptation, which it takes 20 minutes to do. So you go into a dark place.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, your eyes are fully dark adapted, and you can see anything in the night sky, which you should be able to see. After 2 hours, a thing called your purple vision kicks in, which is when I think it's the rods or the cones. I'm not sure if an optician would tell me. I think it's the rods. Anyway, they get coated in carotene. And so when I say carrots go up your eyes, it actually
Yeah,
carrots
right.
and it coats with carotene.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, purple vision. And you can see even fainter when that sort of comes into play.
And that's after 2 hours. So
After 2 hours.
How dark do you have to be before you can? Do you have to sit in a pitch black room or?
No, not really. You can be outside, away from light pollution. Of course,
Yeah.
as you sort of realised earlier on in our report we did, the UK is today still the world's worst light polluter.
Really?
Yeah, per square mile.
Oh,
we
of course. I
waste more
suppose.
energy
Yeah, the
into
Chinese
night
have got
sky.
plenty of places where
Yeah.
there are no lights. I suppose. Yeah.
But per square mile, we're still
Yeah.
the worst. We waste more energy into the night sky.
That's
Through
incredible.
poor design and lighting than any other country. So
That is incredible.
It's a bright place.
I was at the top of the garden yesterday,
Oh yes.
and I was looking out to the southeast way. Am I
I'm
pointing
not
in the
sure
right
that,
direction? I've got my arm out,
you
pointing
southwest?
over.
You might be southwest. I'm not
Is
sure
that? Oh,
there.
of course it is. You're
Yeah,
being
it could
polite.
be.
You,
After sunset,
You just-
it's gonna get
yeah.
darker and
yeah, you're just being polite now. Yeah, it is the southwest. Sorry, yeah, southwest. And there was a really, really bright star.
okay.
So the first star to come out at night.
Yeah.
Would it be a star or would it be a planet?
You see, well, if it's a star, you see, into the west, you're saying about the belt of Orion, the Hunter, with the 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that in the west, after sunset, when it goes dark. And to the left of that, about handspan away, if you like. So if you hold your hand out at its arm's length,
Mm-hmm.
spread your fingers out, and put your little finger, see your right finger, put your little finger on the belt of Orion, and your thumb should be about where the brightest star in the night sky is. That's called Sirius. So
Okay.
Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. So
And
that
that's
will-
like is that like our sun or is that it's a star?
It is a star, yes. It's actually 22 times brighter than the sun.
So will that have planets around it then?
Doubtful.
Oh.
It is interesting. In about 1885, the Victorian astronomers have been measuring Sirius through space, and as it travels through space, rather than going through in a straight line, it appeared to wobble from side to side over a time period of about 50 years. So they soon deduced there was a thing called an unseen companion pulling on it, and it was discovered in 1888 visually, which is called a secondary star. So the primary star is Sirius, then there's a secondary star called Sirius B, which is a white dwarf star, and it's pulling on Sirius itself.
Okay, and that's causing the wobble.
It is, yes, about a 50-year period, an orbital period of 50 years.
Okay. So when I look out then at the night sky, I've always wanted to say that, you know. I'm looking out to the night sky.
If it's clear.
When it's not raining, right? I'm looking out at the night sky, and there's millions and millions of stars in the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Are you saying then, and I'm not holding you to this, but nobody can prove it anyway, so you can really say what you want, but are there not planets around all of those stars? Are they not like mini...
Oh, well, I think many stars have got planets going around them.
Yeah.
It's just seeing them. You know, they're so far
Okay.
away. Don't get planets, unlike stars, don't shine by themselves. So if you point
They're
the
only
telescope
the
at-
reflection of the sun.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So like our moon, for example, doesn't shine at all.
Yeah.
It just reflects the sunlight off its surface. So of course, a star, which is a lot further away, if it's got a planet going around it, all you can see is the light reflecting off the planet's surface. Now, at that distance, it's extremely faint. So again, you know, we could probably detect those in the future properly with space-based equipment.
Okay.
Rather than telescopes from on the Earth.
So what's the best place, if somebody wants to get into astronomy, what's the best place to go to get advice, to find out what kind of telescope, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Without doubt, I would say, no matter where you're in the UK, and of course we're here in Matlock in Derbyshire, go to your local astronomy club. You know,
Yeah.
they exist for you, the public. The members have got telescopes. You can see their telescopes.
Yeah.
So they'll help you with and advise you, with their telescopes and things. They'll show you how to work them. From that, you could decide if you wanted to buy one yourself or not. So I would advise against, for example, going to a shop and just buying a telescope. Go and
Like
see a
what
local-
I did.
Oh, yeah, a lot do. And gathering dust, which is a sad thing. I would say go to your local club and meet them and have a chat to them, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Yes. Okay. Good advice. There's been talk about the Americans, the Chinese, and is it the Indians who are all in a race for space, and the Russians, I think, all in a race to get back to the moon.
Yes.
Do you think we'll go back to the moon again? Do
Yes.
you think in our lifetime?
Yes, I say somewhat tentatively, yes.
Yeah.
I think it was Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, that once said, when they go back to the moon in the future, they don't realise how hard it was, until they do go back. You know, it was so difficult, you know, getting a man back from, not going to the moon, but coming back from the moon to Earth. That was the difficult bit, really, about it. And so it's a difficult thing. I think they'll do it, yes. There are, as you say, 4 different countries trying to do that now. So I think it'll happen, yeah. I don't know who's going to be first to do it, though.
What do you think about the conspiracy theories about us not actually going to the moon in the first place?
Well, there is no sort of discussion to be had on it. You know, we went to the moon, and that's it. You know, that's a final thing. We went to the moon. There's no, for me, there's no debate about it.
Are there not telescopes that can see remnants of machinery or something like that on the moon, or are they just not strong enough to see it?
Yeah, from here, no, it's too. Even the moon's too far away to sort of show the footprints. Yeah, you know, it's like the man's footprints, or even the lunar roving vehicle.
Yeah,
the
LRV. You can't see that.
Not from Earth, no.
No.
You could potentially see it from an orbiting spacecraft. In fact, I think it was revisited at some point by a trip to the moon.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. You can't see anything from Earth. It's too far away.
Yeah.
It's too small. Even with large telescopes from here, you can only resolve detail down to about half a mile wide. I'd say, at the best. So if it's smaller than half a mile, you're not going to see it. So
Gotcha.
Footprints are far too small.
Yeah.
I know you can, but just tell me like you're dreaming and I'll treat you right. Been here before and I've been a mess, but I can love you. Can I love you still? You don't let me down, leave me hanging. I'll be back around. Been here before and I've been a mess, but I can love you. Can I love you still? A million thoughts go around my head about you. Honey, it's just something I can't define, and I would never wanna hurt you. You made me feel so I can't calm down. Do you get your arms up, but you don't let me down. Cup of coffee out, does that sound? Been here before and I've been a mess, but I can love you. Can I love you still? A million thoughts go round my head about you. On the edge of something I can't define, and I would never wanna hurt you. You made me feel so I can't calm down. I know you can, but just let me like you were dreaming that I'll treat you right. Been here before and I've been a mess, but I can love you. Can I love you still? Million thoughts go around my head about you. On the edge of something I can't define, and I would never wanna hurt you. You made me feel so I can't calm down. A million thoughts go around my head about you. On the edge of something I can't define, and I would never wanna hurt you. You made me feel so I can't calm down, but I can love you still.
So we're talking about a spherical Earth.
Yeah,
And,
almost spherical. Yes, it's
Almost.
not
Oh,
quite.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at some points we get magnetic storms that come from the sun,
Oh yes.
creating the Northern Lights.
Yes, the Northern
And there's
Lights.
been so much news about places that the Northern Lights have become visible further south in the UK. Now, I think you're a bit of an expert on the Northern Lights.
Yes, I could say with confidence that I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where's the fascination with the Northern Lights?
It's the most majestic, marvellous sight I think the human eye could ever see. It's not like on the photographs when you see all the weird colours. It's not the same.
Okay. What colour are they then?
Well, first of all, where do you find them? That's your first thing.
Okay.
So we can start with our go out to your back garden.
Yeah.
Hope for the best. On a clear night.
Yeah.
There's a very, very good website. It's www.spaceweather.com. And if you use spaceweather.com, I think it's a NASA website.
Yeah.
It's a super website, and it shows you how it all works, and it shows you how the aurora works and how it's forecasted. And so on any one night, you can go out, look at the auroral oval and the incoming photons from the sun and things, the plasma from the sun, and you can sort of see what's happening with it. And if it's a good chance, and it's clear, of course, which it has to be, then you can go out to spot it. That's in your back garden. Now, my friend who lives on the south coast of the UK,
Yeah.
in the last 15 years, has seen it 8 times. Quite
On the
brightly down
south
there.
coast?
Yeah. It's still 50 degrees north latitude, which is actually far enough north to see it from time to time.
Hang on a minute. Is it not? I mean, I imagine this guy knows what he's talking about, or lady knows what she's talking about, but it's definitely not your nomenclature clouds.
Oh, no, it's not. You mean noctilucent clouds?
Noctilucent, yeah.
No, it's not those at all. No,
Oh,
he's,
right.
he's a BBC science presenter.
Oh,
So
right.
he's not gonna
I
get that
can't
wrong.
criticise him then. It won't be the first
he's
time
trying
the
to remain
BBC.
nameless, but, he's seen the aurora from there, about 8 times in 15
Wow.
years. And it's because of being outside, you see, looking for the aurora, so that's why he's seeing it. Whereas, of course, it can be visible, tonight. If you don't go outside, you're not going to see it.
And you've been. I can remember in the talk you were on a cruise. I think it was it a cruise up in Norway?
Yes, I've seen the Northern Lights out of an airplane window, of course, and also again, yes, I've been to North Norway, and also Iceland as well, and Finland. Now, anywhere near the Arctic Circle, which, by the way, let's just say at this stage, the Arctic Circle is not near the Arctic itself. It's 23.5 degrees away from the actual North Pole, which is about the same as from here to Egypt away.
Oh, right.
So it's quite a way away, in regard to latitude. So when you get to the Arctic Circle, that's about your best place to see the aurora. If you go too far north, again to the North Pole, you may probably not see it because it's just too far north to see it. So you need to be near.
So is it like a glancing blow off the Earth?
You need to get under what's called the auroral oval. So this is the oval of aurora, as it spirals down into this magnetic field. It's called the magnetosphere.
Yeah.
As the sun's photons and plasma spiral down there, and they suck down at such speed because they're magnetically charged, and it's a magnetic field, so it locks onto the magnetic field, and it shoots down and funnels down into the North Pole and the South Pole of the Earth as well at the same time. As it does that, it bombards the atmosphere, oxygen, mostly oxygen and nitrogen, and it excites these molecules, and they shine with this fluorescent light, which is the aurora.
Okay.
And of course, the Northern Lights, the name of the official title is called Aurora Borealis.
So is there a Australis?
Yes, Aurora
right, okay.
Australis as well, yes.
Yeah.
Now, Aurora, and the Borealis means pertaining to the north, and Australis means pertaining to the south.
Yeah.
Aurora means dawn, like the northern lights is the northern dawn. So the ancient people saw it as like a dawn in the night sky, like a morning sky, if you like.
Oh.
But it wasn't really. It was the aurora, so it's the northern dawn, which is the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights.
So do you on your astrotourism trips? How far are you from the Arctic Circle, from that band?
We're 60 north latitude, about where Shetland is. But at the height the plane flies at, it's about 7 miles, you can see over the Earth's curvature. So you can see beyond what you'd see sort of below you, say on Shetland, for example. You get an extra 4 degrees of sky, which is actually quite a lot. And again, you can see this auroral sheet doing all its stuff.
How do you mean above the Earth's curvature? Can you see the the
Well,
curve
imagine a garden fence or a wall, and
Yeah.
walking towards it, and
Yeah.
then sort of standing higher and higher until you can see over the other side of it.
I see.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're looking over the Earth's curvature, and that stops you from below seeing the aurora from say on any given night. You can sort of not see the aurora because of the Earth's curvature. But in the aeroplane, it's a crystal clear sky, very dark, and of course you can see over the Earth's curvature.
And you see more surface
Yeah,
of the
but
Earth.
let's get one thing straight though. You don't see the colours. The human eye won't see the colours which the camera will show. Yes, people will say, "Oh, yes, well, I've seen pinks, yellows," and you can see all. You can see pink, yellow, blue, red. You can see all the colours. Green. You know, it can be a coloured thing, but not like the camera sees it. And the simple reason is because the light photon hits the camera chip, and it's contained and memorised on that chip. And over a period of minutes or seconds, if you like, as you expose the chip on the aurora, and so the photons of light hitting the chip, it builds up these photons, intensifies the image, and gives this intense colour on the actual chip, so you end up with a really coloured picture. Plus, of course, people get Photoshop and use the sliders to intensify the image.
Yes, I
now,
see.
The human eye doesn't do that. It just sees a light photon at any one given instant. So imagine a candlelight or even a light in your house. Look at that with your eye. It'll never change. You can look at it all night long. It won't seem any brighter to the eye. It's because the instant light photons hitting the retina, you slide off it again straight away. So notice the eye can't contain the image like a camera can. So you see as it is at that particular time. However, you see less colour, but much more detail with the eye than what the camera shows. And so it's a fantastically detailed thing. And it can be colour, but not like a camera. So, yeah.
When I've seen Joanna Lumley
Yes?
looking at the aurora,
Yeah.
she sees it in green then?
Yes.
Or am I seeing what the camera's seeing?
Yes, what that was, I went up to Norway once with a chap called Chris Tarrant, who's
Not-
the Chris
Oh,
Tarrant.
phone
yeah.
a friend.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. And, we had 5 nights up there.
What were
watching
you
the
hang on
aurora.
a minute, what are you doing with Chris Tarrant in the North Pole?
Well, he wanted to find the aurora, so we all went up there and, went up all the snowy mountains and he sort of, we saw the aurora with him and we had a great
Were
time.
you like his guide or something?
Well, I was with him, you
Yeah.
point him in the right direction, shall we say. Obviously a few of us went up there, but yes, what I did, it was my idea to go and look for the aurora on the nights that we looked for it, and we saw
Yeah.
it every night. Then the day we left, Joanne Lumley arrived at the same place. It's a place called Bardufoss International Airport, which is just south of the actual Arctic Circle. And Bardufoss is near a little village called Malselv, and there's a ski resort there. And we sort of went there, and had a few nights up there looking for the aurora, which we saw it every night. Now, Joanne Lumley, looked at the aurora. Now, the programme is edited where she tries to find it the first night, and she goes out to try to find it. And she's on, say, a dog sled, doing husky, tries to find the aurora, fails miserably. The second night she goes to an ice hotel, and again she tries to find the aurora, but fails miserably. The third night she goes just out on a lake or something to try and find it, doesn't see it. The final night she's there, the last gasp, this Norwegian tour guide takes her to a place where there's a gap in the clouds, and there's this superb display which she sees. And all the viewers of watching the programme go,
Thank
goodness.
crikey for that, she's done it.
Yeah. In truth, she saw it every night.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's how they edit the programme.
I see.
So
You've broken the magic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's more magic to break then. What you see on TV, which is the aurora, and she's watching the aurora and pointing at it like that.
Yeah.
Well, she was seeing the aurora, but what you see is a projected image onto a screen. So it's a projected image. What you actually
No.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We always think it's speeded up.
Often these animations are sped up. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The best ones aren't, but yes, obviously some of them are. That one on Joan Lumley program wasn't sped up; it was, I think, real time.
Oh.
But again, it was a series of different takes because so it was different takes, and they edit it all together to.
So
show
should
what
we
you see.
only believe what we see on the sky at night?
Yeah, I think that was a Sky Night's a program. It's an accurate program.
Yeah.
We're not going to
It's factual,
misinform
yeah,
anyone.
it's not on
And,
ITV.
No. So the Sky Night is obviously it's a science program.
Yeah.
That's a proper thing, But she saw Joanne Lumley saw the aurora,
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, the viewer is shown a series of images, running images in a movie, which is a series of photographs put into an animated video, if you like. Because a normal TV camera, a proper high grade, £100,000 broadcast camera, won't show the aurora like the camera can with photographs into a movie. It can't pick. Again, the photons are too faint, and it just looks as a grey misty cloud. So, the best way to see the aurora is to do photographs of it, and then do a running animation of the aurora to sort of see it moving through the sky. And it does do. It can be still all night. The aurora can be stationary, never move for hours, or it can strafe across the entire sky in 2 seconds flat. It can be as fast as that. It can move like very quickly. And
just for everybody out there who's as kind of a beginner like me, this is magnetic wind from the sun.
Yes, it's plasma from the sun. Yes, it's belched out
plasma.
From the sun. Yes.
Star Trek.
Photons, yes, electrons and stripped atomic nuclei.
Yeah.
All come from the sun across space. So again, they're nothing. They mean nothing at all. They're magnetically charged, but they mean nothing until they get to the Earth's atmosphere.
So if the atmosphere wasn't there,
we wouldn't get an aurora.
What would the aurora do to the Earth? Is it radiation? Is it?
Yes, it is. Actually.
It would
be. Yeah. Again, with our magnetic field, it protects us.
Yeah.
From most of the radiation from the sun. But the aurora does seep in at the poles, which is little bits of the sun's energy, if you like. But
Okay.
it lights up the atmosphere. So the molecules of oxygen and nitrogen, mostly oxygen, nitrogen, those molecules are struck by these electrons from the sun, and they're lit up. So it excites them into incandescence. So that's what's causing the glow. Of course, the actual structure and the movement of the aurora is the Earth's magnetic cage changing structures. There are different levels of magnetic sheets, if you like, and these sheets move. And so as the stuff comes down from the sun, it bashes into the Earth's atmosphere. It lights the atmosphere up, and that's all part of the magnetic cage as well. It's all moving, so again, it can move a lot or a little, of course. Our statistics, it's most active between sort of 9 and 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and 9 and 10 p.m.
Right.
And then again about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning as well. So
Okay.
before and after midnight. It may be bright before that and then fainter at that time, but mostly that's the best time to look for it, because the auroral oval between 9 and 10 p.m. is at its closest to Britain, if you like, as the Britain rotates under it. So that's a good time to spot for the aurora between 9 and 10 p.m. But if you wait out in the morning, again, your sun does get a second spike of activity. And if you do that, you'll see it.
How can we go on your astro-tourism trips?
Oh, well, right. Well, Pete Lawrence, who's one of the BBC Sky Night presenters, you won't mind mentioning his name because he's a nice guy, he's got his own website, and you book on sort of via that thing.
Okay.
And I think it's, if you look on Google, it's the top of Google search list. One word will do it. It's called Aurora Flights. And so look on that. It'll link you to the site where you could book and go and sort of book a flight if you wanted to.
And you do flights from East Midlands all over the country.
Yeah, they fly from all over the country. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a company, I think, is it called something like Just Go or something, and they do these flights. Yeah, they do, and every airport in the country.
So we can find Pete's website.
Yeah, and look
Have
at
a
his
look on
pictures.
there.
Yeah, he takes pictures of the aurora.
Oh, okay.
So you can see all the pictures out the airplane window is
Yeah.
taken. So all that's on there, And as I say, if you want to look at where the flights are in the future, they'll be on his site as well. You can say East Midlands, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Exeter, Norwich, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
So and it's an out and back flight, exactly the same as the Snowman cartoon.
Oh, right.
Where the lad leaves his back garden, goes up there, he does see the aurora on this green thing, but it's exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
You fly up, from the airport, you go and hopefully see it, and fly back again, and you're back to where you started from.
Yeah, but he didn't get duty free, did he? While he only came
No,
back.
he didn't. No, he didn't. No. Well, that's another story.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks ever so much for all of this. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and absolutely fascinating. You've got to come back and tell us some more stuff when there's something happening in the night sky.
I'd be delighted to, and you're very welcome.
Fantastic. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Nigel for entertaining us this evening, telling us all about celestial objects, the Northern Lights, I'll post everything up on Tinterweb and Twitter and Facebook if you want to have a look at what he does. I'll see you soon.
Engine, reliably mediocre.